So we submitted the contract. Long story short, we got the deal. John's gonna pay me, I don't have to worry about the Mills family. But along the way, the city of Bowie and Prince George's County announced that they were gonna take a look at all the zoning in and around Bowie. And this particular piece was not zoned for commercial, it was zoned for residential. So remember how I said we're gonna draw the line? Right. Drawing the line on a piece of paper is not good enough. We actually had to change the zoning. So I went back to John, I said, John, look, here's the deal. If you just pay me a commission, you're gonna pay me X amount of dollars. And I'm okay with it. But what I'd rather have you do is not pay me that commission. What I'd rather have you do is let me partner with you and have you mentor me and look over my shoulder. And instead of paying me a commission, I will take the property through that process to get it rezoned, and I get 15%. He said, fine. I should have asked for 20. So the long story short is, rather than spending a lot of money in legal fees, I went in, met with the city of Bowie, went and met with Prince George's, and we just sort of put ourselves right in line, just like a little boat coming right in behind the destroyer. And as the city of Bowie and as Prince George's County rezoned all of this property in and around Bowie, they also said we're going to rezone this particular site so the front half is commercial and the back half remains residential. We then turned around and I got Honda Bowie to buy this piece over here, which is 7 acres. Honda Bowie was the first person that I went to go talk to. A lot of people ask me, how do you do land development? Land is actually pretty easy. Number one, you don't get caught short by having to make payments every month. That's where people get screwed up. Because land, how much money's coming in off a piece of land? Zero. So if there's nothing coming in, what are you going to pay it with? Right? Right. So, second thing about land is, generally speaking, if you stand on a piece of land and you look that way, you look that way, and you look that way, it pretty much tells you what it wants to be. When you look this way, you saw 2 car dealerships. I got news for you. If there's 2 car dealerships over here, doesn't a third and a fourth want to be here? You ever heard the expression, birds of a feather flock together? Yeah. All the car dealers want to be close to each other. All the restaurants want to be close to each other. Why? Because if my customer goes to the Cheesecake Factory and they're told it's a 2-hour wait, they're like, you know what, who's next door? If I come to buy a Honda, I'm like, that's still too much. Hyundai's like, well, we're here. Toyota's like, we're here. Or Nissan, we're here, right? So I looked and said, well, which car dealership is not here? So there's no Volvo dealership. I happen to know Don Byer. When I lived in Old Town, we became friends. I called Don Byer. I said, hey, would you be interested? And he's like, Sherman, let me give you an education on how car dealerships really work. I said, educate me. I said, do I need to come see you? He said, no, I can give it to you over the telephone. He says, real simple. The car dealers are not allowed to decide anything. It's the manufacturers who decide. And if there's no Volvo dealership in Bowie or Prince George, there's a reason why. They don't want to be there. And you can't go to somebody who owns a dealership and say, do you want to open up? No, they can't do that. He said, go look and see who's not in Bowie right now, who should be in Bowie, and then call the manufacturer or call the association for the manufacturer and see if they're interested. And then they'll tell you whether or not they'll put a dealership. Well, guess what? When I did that, there was only one name that stuck out that was clearly not here. Well, 2 really, but one was sort of like going to be hard. One was Mercedes, but there's already a Mercedes dealership in Rockville and there's already one in Indianapolis, so that was going to be hard. But guess who wasn't here? Nissan. There was no Nissan dealership anywhere close by. So when I started talking to the Maryland Automobile Manufacturers Association, they're like, yes, we want to be in Bowie. Bingo. So the first thing we said is, okay, this makes sense to put a car dealership. And the most likely one is Nissan. And that's exactly what happened. Nissan dealership on the 7 acres. This piece that we're on right here, not here, but right where the grass is, that one's already under contract. They just haven't gotten their financing together. I went and approached the guy that washes my car, Maritime Auto Wash, and said, y'all need to have a Maritime, because I see all these people from Prince George's County coming over to Millersville and coming over to, why don't you? And so I literally brought the guy out here. And then we drove around the neighborhood, and when he saw the number of Mercedes and Lexi and Navigators and Lincoln, he said, you know what? So he's going to put a car wash right here. And then this piece where we're standing right here, it wasn't a part of the original 25 acres. This one was actually, this was actually the house of one of the sisters, but along the way, one of the sisters passed away. And so once we got our piece rezoned, this piece also got rezoned for commercial. And so when she passed away, her eldest son wound up selling and talking to the folks over at CVS, and that's how CVS is. So somebody asked me the question earlier, Sherman, how do you find these deals? I'm a big believer in just open your eyes. If you drive past a piece of property and and the property's here, and there's something over here, and there's something over here, and there's nothing here, the first thing you need to say is, why isn't there something there? And then after you say, why isn't there something, the next question is, okay, who should be there? And one of the things that's happening here that CVS took advantage of, is no wonder CVS is there, more and more stores, banks, drugstores, they want to have freestanding pad sites. You want to know why? What do you see right here? Drive-through.
Oh, yeah.
Drive-through.
Okay.
They realize that their customers want to be able to come out at 2 o'clock in the morning in the rain because, 2-year-old is sick and puking all over the place,
Right.
and not have to get out of the car to come get some medicine.
Yeah.
And the company that started doing that and has made boatloads of money by having these standalone with the drive-through is Walgreens. And in the drugstore business, everybody's chasing Walgreens. So they're like, what is Walgreens doing? Why are they making so much money? Oh, one of it is they got the drive. The other thing, when you go inside, we're not going inside, guys. But when you come back and go inside, you'll notice, once you go to this CVS, you don't have to go anyplace else. Milk, eggs. If you just want to run out and get a Sunday paper, and oh, by the way, I need to pick up a dozen eggs and need a half-gallon of milk, it's right here. More like a convenience store, like a mini convenience store, a little bit bigger than a High's or a 7-Eleven. Quality's a whole lot better, right? But not quite a full-blown grocery store. And that's the new model. And they want to have their own freestanding with their own parking. And so all over the place, they're looking for little pieces of dirt right on the corner of Main and Main. My point in telling this to all of you guys is, again, the theme for this weekend is I am possible. What I did is no different than what any of you guys could do, with a couple of just minor exceptions. Number one, I knew this little trick on how to take this plat thing and just put little squares to show how many houses you could get. Well, you guys know how to do that now too. Number two, I knew how to go down to the county and pull the plat to see what was going on and be able to have some conversations. You guys can do that too. Number three, that might be the little tricky part. I actually was willing to roll up my sleeves and work with the city and go to the city of Bowie and ask some questions and then shut up. See, some of y'all like to go ask questions but not shut up. But I went to see, I said, what do we have to do to get this property rezoned to allow it to have commercial? And Joe Miner, the director of planning for City of Bowie, said, it's real simple. We're getting ready to go through that process. He said, if you want to do it now on your own, you have to hire a lawyer and go through the rezoning application, rezoning process. It might cost you about $200,000. But if you're willing to wait for a couple of months and come in along with us, then we'll have a public conversation about it, and we may very well decide the same thing that you're looking at, which is it makes sense to rezone the front of the property commercial. And that's exactly what we did. In other words, he told me what to do. I just did the work.